Depth of the Quiet. Chapter 28. Healing Without Reconciliation. Finding wholeness, even when the relationship remains broken. There is a kind of healing that no parent ever imagines needing. Healing in the absence of reconciliation. You never pictured a future where your child might be alive, moving through the world, living a life full of moments and milestones, while you remain on the outside of every door. This chapter speaks to the reality that healing is still possible, even when reconciliation is not guaranteed, not offered, or not healthy for you in its current form. Healing without reconciliation is not a consolation prize. It is an act of courage, the kind that allows you to reclaim the parts of yourself estrangement tried to take. Healing is not the same as forgetting. Healing does not mean you stop loving your child, you stop missing them, you stop hoping, you stop remembering, you stop caring, you stop wishing things had been different. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is not erasing. Healing is not pretending you were not wounded. Healing is learning to live with the truth of what happened, without letting it consume your entire identity. It is not a betrayal of your child. It is a rescue of yourself. Reconciliation cannot be the measure of your worth. Estranged parents often believe, if my child came back, that would prove I wasn't a bad parent. If they understood me, that would mean I'm worthy. If they forgave me, I could finally forgive myself. If we reconciled, then everything would make sense again. But reconciliation, or the lack of it, does not reflect who you were as a parent. Reconciliation depends on their emotional maturity, their influences, their partner, their therapist, their unresolved wounds, their identity needs, their capacity for empathy, their ability to face discomfort, their willingness to question narrative, their season of life, their psychological readiness. You cannot pin your worth on someone else's readiness. Your value is not conditional. Your goodness is not conditional. Your healing is not conditional. Reconciliation is not the finish line of your healing. It is only one potential path among many, and it may never be offered. You must not wait for their healing to begin your own. Healing without reconciliation means letting go of the someday fantasy. The fantasy of reconciliation can become a form of emotional limbo. You imagine the phone call, the apology, the breakthrough, the moment they finally understand, the day they say, "I want you back in my life." You imagine it vividly. You hold onto it quietly. Some nights it keeps you going. Other nights it breaks your heart. But healing without reconciliation requires a painful and freeing shift. You release the timeline without releasing the hope. You stop living in anticipation of their return. You stop putting your life on hold waiting for their readiness. You stop using reconciliation as the barometer of your healing. You allow yourself to live even in the uncertainty. This is not giving up. This is giving yourself permission to exist beyond the ache. You can still love them without being broken by the loss. Healing is not about severing love. You can love them without chasing them. You can miss them without losing yourself. You can hope for reconciliation without making it a condition of your happiness. You can carry love without carrying self-blame. You can keep their place in your heart without letting their absence define your whole life. Love does not need access to remain real. Your heart is big enough to hold both love and healing at the same time. Acceptance is not surrender, it is self-protection. Acceptance does not mean approving the estrangement, agreeing with their narrative, liking the reality, letting them rewrite history, pretending you're okay with the loss. Acceptance means I acknowledge what is true right now so I can stop fighting a war that only injures me. It is a survival skill, a psychological boundary, a form of emotional self-respect. Acceptance protects you from exhausting yourself in battles that will not change the present circumstances. It is not the end of hope, it is the beginning of stability. Healing without reconciliation requires releasing the self-blame loop. Estranged parents often torture themselves with endless questions. What if I'd reacted differently? What if I'd known more? What if I'd seen the signs? What if I caused this? What if I was the problem? These questions paralyze healing, because no matter how many answers you find, none of them lead to reconciliation. The past cannot be rewritten. The present cannot be controlled. The future cannot be forced. Healing begins when you stop digging through the rubble of your history, as if reconciliation is buried somewhere inside it. Your child's distance is not a referendum on your worth. Healing means ending the interrogation you keep conducting on your own soul. You can build a life that is bigger than the estrangement. Estrangement narrows your world. It collapses time, identity, meaning, and joy into a single wound. Healing without reconciliation is the slow expansion of your world again. It looks like rediscovering your interests, strengthening friendships, creating new traditions, practicing self-compassion, taking care of your body, allowing joy without guilt, letting yourself laugh again, building a future that isn't on pause. This does not erase grief, but it allows grief to coexist with growth. You are allowed a life that is more than your loss. Healing without reconciliation is the ultimate act of inner sovereignty. Estrangement tries to take your dignity, your confidence, your identity, your joy, your self-trust, your memories, your future. Healing without reconciliation is how you take these back. It is saying, my healing is mine, my identity is mine, my truth is mine, my worth is mine, my life is mine, and I will not abandon myself while waiting for someone else to return. You reclaim yourself not through reunion, but through resilience. Not through reconciliation, but through self-respect. Not through being believed, but through standing in your truth. Why this chapter matters. Not every story ends in reconciliation. Many do, but not all. And healing must remain possible for every parent, regardless of the outcome. Healing without reconciliation is acceptance without self-blame, love without self-destruction, dignity without validation, peace without permission, hope without conditions, wholeness without agreement, identity without narrative approval. It is the courage to reclaim your life even if the relationship remains broken. It is the decision to stop waiting for an ending that someone else controls and begin writing the chapters you still have the power to create. Estrangement may have broken your heart, but healing reminds you that your soul is still your own. If this content resonated with you, you're welcome to like and subscribe to Depth of the Quiet. This is a space you can return to whenever you need steadiness, whether that's during a quiet afternoon or at 2 a.m. when your thoughts feel heavy and sleep feels far away. If you feel comfortable, you're invited to share your reflections, questions, or experiences in the comments. Your voice may offer comfort to another parent walking a similar path. And if today isn't a day for interaction, that's completely okay too. There is never any pressure here, only support, understanding, and the freedom to heal at your own pace. Depth of the Quiet book by Latina Sidorov is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle version. You are always welcome in this space.